Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again. Welcome to today's morning show. A little bit later than usual. It's usually around 9 o'clock or so, but there's this, for whatever reason, this show that I'm about to share with you. It was a lot of issues popped up. A lot of them. Welcome to my channel. I'm Jacob Israel. If you're new, I'm so happy that you're here. Take a look at that thumbnail, and while we're looking at it and I'm explaining things, do me a favor and let me know if whether or not, the sound is okay, because that's always an important thing. Thank you so much to my super chats already. Genius by birth, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And Lauren Sawyer, thank you so much. And thank you for what you sent me in the mail. I'm going to talk about it shortly. I need you to send a link over to me so I can post it out. But listen, we got a lot of things to talk about. Can you hear me okay? Is everything all right? No music this morning. No music. Wendy Fowler, thank you. You are my hero this morning for telling me right away. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of interesting things. We're going to start right off the bat with Rogan. All right? Best podcaster in the world, right? Best show going. He recently had on the Zuck, and we know how that turned out. All you have to do is read that right there, and that kind of set off a firestorm. A lot of interesting things have been percolating. A lot of interesting things I get excited about, because a couple of years back I started sharing that I thought that maybe perhaps this could all be some kind of in the wrestling business, you'd call it a work. Something like it looks like it's real, sounds like it's real, feels like it's real, but it's all make-believe. It's all the story to get you to buy into it so that you purchase tickets to the next big WrestleMania event. But this right here just seems to be very impeccable timing, that this story comes out right around the same time that I kind of suspected it would. If you missed my last live show, it was from 2 days ago, you got to go back and watch it at the end of this show. Hopefully it'll be linked. If not, just go to my webpage. But so here's the thing. If you've been living under a rock, he appeared on Rogan's show. And the big question was, what did you do with that story? That story that they said was disinformation from, other nations. And you'll notice, if you're new here, you'll notice that I find different ways of trying to say things so that this show is, not cut short or struck down or anything else. We want the news out. We want people to be informed. So he told everybody that he was warned, and that basically, that Bureau of investigation, they came around, they said this is the deal, and they made their rounds to everybody else. People are calling that interference, and it's kind of a spooky thing, because we're already kind of on the razor's edge as it is as a nation. For years, I've been saying that they're working very hard to divide us, because obviously a divided house can't stand. So, in this interview where you have supposedly foreign threats that made it so that a story that could have made the outcome of the last election a little different, or a lot different, some would say. This is big news, okay? This is big news. Even on Tucker Carlson, not that he's like the go-to guy for the best source of news, because I think it's all propaganda. I think there's just two sides of every coin. I really wish, that's why I titled the show, Who Can We Trust? I really wish there was somebody that we could trust. But even the former intel officer suggests that this story amounts to big-time interference. Big time. Very, very, very stressful time that we're in. A lot of people are saying so. What's weird about all this is that it didn't take very long for President Trumpster to demand the rightful winner to be declared. Even though many people are saying that it was totally fine, everything was on the up and up, this kind of lends to proof that perhaps it was tampered with. But what do I know? I don't know. I think this whole thing is I think this whole thing is a work. That's what I do. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. And see, that's the problem, because you can't come on here. A lot of people are like, you got to choose sides. You got to say who's wrong. You got to tell people who's wicked. I don't know. I don't have inside information. I just have speculation, right? This is an entertainment channel, right? That's what we're doing. I'm really more concerned with the spiritual ramifications of all this, because while all this is going on the outside, there's turmoil on the inside of so many people. A lot of stuff going down. And this right here really seems like we could be in for something very stressful coming up in the old September. September. Of course, we have the 21st anniversary of September 11th. That was a terrible day. I remember. I was supposed to work that day, and for whatever reason, we were in the city late that night. So I said, everybody, hey, let's not go in until later. Not that I was in that building, but we were nearby. So anyways, it was very stressful. And I got to tell you, going into the city afterwards was really scary. And I sadly have always been prone to fear. All of us were formed from when we're little babies, right? We're like little baby computers, biological computers, and we're programmed. We're programmed by our parents. We're programmed by the education system. We're programmed by society. We're programmed to think a certain way. And sadly, I was raised, not the most educated and upright, meaning the most well off. It was not really at all. Hard workers. My mom, when she had me, she was very young. She got pregnant. She had me very young, and I had to get her GED, and to this day works to the bone. Never met my father. He took off, but I was raised with a lot of fear, I was raised with a lot of fear, and most people are today. And sadly, that in those formative years, especially if you're abused and you go through these things, it can really make you be a nervous wreck about things. And that's been one of my crosses to bear, and I'm trying to get rid of it. I've been trying to get rid of fear for a long time. I'm always praying. So I'm trying not to see the worst. And I know that when you look at like a thumbnail that I have right here, when you take a look at that, you say, well, wow, that's a spooky thumbnail. And maybe that's not the case, right? I'm not saying everybody's in the old, all-seeing eye club. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that because I don't know. I just know that a lot of stuff is very weird. And right now it seems to be about to pop off, if you know what I mean. So he said this is a massive fraud. And this is massive interference at a level we've never seen before. And he says either declare the rightful winner or have a recount. I'm thinking that may not happen because it just seems like it's, I don't think it would happen. But who knows what's about to happen, right? Like maybe there's other stuff coming out. Other countries are reporting on this laptop story a lot more. And they're saying a lot of scary things, especially if you're on Twitter. Hey, if you're on Twitter, follow me, will you? Or on Facebook or anything else. All of this stuff is making its rounds. Appropriate timing, I would say. So here, I actually, right before the news with the Zuck and Rogan broke, for whatever reason, I had just finished the show, and I tweeted this out. I wanted everybody to remember what could be coming in September. So I said everybody should watch this video again, as I feel in a short period of time everything's about to change. And if you saw my live stream from 2 days ago, it really goes into depth. I really encourage you, if you haven't seen it, to go back and watch it because it's interesting. But you'll notice in the thumbnail right there, there's the date, September 2022. For whatever reason, I wrote it in my novel. I don't know. I just started to think that perhaps because I do things and I don't even know why I do them. I told a friend recently, I feel like sometimes I'm just kind of stumbling around in the dark. I get these ideas and I'm like, oh, what if this? And, I don't know for sure about anything. So I just kind of put it out there. I'm just going by faith. Who knows? But the same day that I put this out, the interview took place. Same day. And that was a short period of time. Very short period of time, I would say. And then when I saw the response by, President Trumpster, I immediately said with his announcement, and of course, you see those words, it says with the announcement, and then 2 words following, trending. Those words, trending, were on they were trending on Twitter. It's like the big thing. I said, this show is a reminder not to fall for it. Don't fall for this stuff. All right? Don't be thinking that, you got to take arms against somebody who has a different political belief. I feel like that's the direction that they're trying to push everyone. So much so that there could be provocateurs. And if they're provocateurs, let's not do what we saw other people do. And even though they're making a ton of money right now because they're suing one person after another. I don't know if you saw, he's now suing LeBron James. If you don't know who I'm talking about, look that young man up. And they dragged his name through the mud. And I don't know how you live on your conscience with, that's such a traumatic event. You take the lives of even horrible people. Still a traumatic event. We don't need to be taking arms, even though, what are we seeing now? As I said, they're going to continue to promote this. Now we saw just recently, there was a parade many people would disagree with. And there were people that were dressed up in black and they were carrying assault weapons. You probably saw that too. That's like, what did they do a while ago where they were showing the armed armies, all these armies that are rising up, all these militia that are rising up? Come on. We need to love, we need to forgive, we need to move on. And we don't know who to trust. So you can't be getting your marching orders from people that are going to encourage this stuff. Seems like all the media is, because of course that slogan, if it bleeds, it leads, is it's gone a little bit too far. But then I got to thinking about all of these people that we do put our trust and our faith in, right? Like Joe Rogan, okay? We love Joe. I like Joe Rogan so much. I really do. I love listening to his podcasts. I really do. I love that he was standing up for stuff and he was, bringing light to issues and doing all sorts of stuff that, other people weren't doing. Do you remember when he didn't think that landing was real? Does everybody remember that? He was pretty passionate about it. And that's highly, that's a big no-no on YouTube. You can't say that stuff like that didn't happen, okay? Rogan had great reason to believe that it didn't. You could probably still find the interview where he, how many people in the chat? Genius by birth, thank you so much. I appreciate it. He wrote, some people call it a gut feeling, some people call it an inner voice, some people call it the Holy Spirit. Whatever it is, listen to it, it knows. I agree. Yeah, these days that we're in are important days, and it's good to listen to that voice within, as long as it's leading you to love. But who remembers where he was very, very anti that? He said, hey, look, it can't happen. It's an impossibility. But then, for whatever reason, he did like a sudden about face, which was weird. Because his reason is, well, I talked to people that knew. And that was the thing. Ironically, when he decided to change his stance on such an event, he became even more popular than he was, and he was already popular. But the biggest and the best, right? And uncanceled. He can't be canceled, they said. So he changed his stance on that landing. I'm not saying that this is a linchpin. I'm not saying that this offers insight into whether or not that he's somebody that we can trust or not. I don't know. I do find it odd that things happen the way they do. I do find it odd that people that seem to be persecuted end up making a lot more money, end up becoming a lot more famous. So much though you start to question, are they out there so that we can then put our trust and our faith in them? And then, like Rogan, he's like, everybody needs to vote Republican. Really? because all the Republicans are so, I mean, really? Is there one side of that divided coin, where the two sides of the coin, is there one side that's really, or are they both leading to the slaughterhouse? Are they both leading to servitude? Is it really? Is he the voice of, hey, look, you can trust me. I didn't get that, I didn't get the wackadoo, right? But I got everything else. Which is funny. It's to me, very funny to me. But he changed his stance. He became very, very, very famous. And then, of course, right before he supposedly was, he clearly didn't get canceled. He struck his $100 million Spotify deal, which, by the way, I got to say, good for you. Really, I think the best podcast ever. Once again, as I always say on the show, I really hope that he's a good guy. I really do. I really hope that, because he seems to be. He says he says the things that kind of I can connect with and I can relate to. Seems to me, right? He also does promote blood sport. He's known in blood sport, right? Back in the day, when the government was, when it was a real dictatorship, blood sport was the thing. Go and you got to watch this and watch that, and what happens next is the Christians are thrown to the lions. That's not good. We don't want that. But here's the thing. So a while back, I started getting this vibe that we were going to see this sort of culture of, canceling people out years ago, okay? Like right before the first one went down, that first peg. Now, this is where it gets weird because I had forgotten about this show. I forgot about the thumbnail that I made. I forgot about the timing of it because it was years ago. What was it, 2018? Take a look at this. Whose head is about to get snipped off from every single platform? That's weird. Then you got that 17th letter around them. Weirder still. The video. Strange. Look at the title. This is back on. Now, why do I do this? Because some people are like, oh, I can't stand when you go back and you say it's like you're bragging. I'm not bragging. I'm just somebody that's led by faith. Like I was talking to my wife about this morning. I was talking to Dan about it. And she goes, well, you're a writer. You probably look at all the evidence and you're like, hey, this is where the story goes. And I said, yeah, that's what I tell people. It's like, I don't say I have any great insight. When I have a weird dream and then things happen, which they have, that I can't really explain too much is the fact that I thought like, well, there's that guy. He's gonna, there was already so much stuff around him. He's gonna go down, right? But I felt like that was part of the plan. Using so-called fake news to keep us ignorant. Is it real news? Did they really get canceled? Or was this the thing that like catapulted these people into better and higher and greater directions? Now I know that he's going through, the guy in the picture right there, I know he's going through a really hard time in court. And it's terrible. You know what else is terrible? What else is terrible is saying things that aren't real unless you know they aren't real. Things that are real, saying they aren't real, not a good thing unless you know they aren't real. And if you don't know, just to get, not a good thing, a terrible thing, in fact. Which is why I was even considering not doing this show. I have a whole other show that is fantastic. I can't wait to upload for you. Because I don't want to make it seem like these people are maybe in on it. I don't want to, but we do seem to go towards them, don't we? Like we do kind of take our direction from them. I'm not saying I do, but I'm saying a lot of people do. And so back on the 3rd of August, I do this. Let's take a look at when he got shut down 3 days later. What are the odds? What are the odds that you go from, it's just strange to me. It's just strange to me that you have this and then you have 3 days later, it all changes. All of it. Just weird. So almost like, well, maybe there's something to it. maybe I need to keep an eye on it. Like, I felt like this was all a big setup. I felt like it. Because you take your marching orders from them. If they're saying certain things, then you start saying, then they can shut down all of these channels and all these people that are saying certain things. And then you say, well, wait, hang on a second. Russell Brand can say stuff like this. Why can't I? Right? Rogan can say stuff like this. Why can't I? And I think he's gotten better. I think he's a little more, why can't I? And then you get all these people because they follow after and they put their faith in these other people when perhaps it's all a big setup. It's all a big work. I hope it's not. I find it hard to believe that it's true, though. I don't know why that is. Because how terrible to think that all of these people that we admire and appreciate might somehow be compromised for money. Here's the thing. He made a lot of money. Okay, he made a lot of money after he was snipped off. A lot of money. Something like $250 million they say that he is now worth. I don't know. But I will say something that's strange to me. After he was booted, he then went back on Rogan because, they're friends. And I was so struck that he would wear this shirt. And I brought that up in like a tweet or something. And everybody's like, oh, he's just doing it as a goof. He loves this shirt. He wears this shirt all the time. As a goof, maybe. I don't know. But why would you wear here you have something that's strange to me. Something that's strange to me. And the history of this organization and how one of the founding members was into some dark, occult, demonic stuff. Look it up. There's a whole series you can watch, which is a great series. Very weird that he would be wearing this shirt. And I like all the goofy talk, and I like all the frogs and all the interdimensional beings, and I like this stuff. I'm a writer, right? I like fantastic stories. Not that I believe them to be true, but I like them. And a lot of the stuff that he says, and here's the thing, because he did sacrifice a lot, he did expose a lot. Do you think somewhere along the line they're like, hey, we could just shut you down completely? Or, I'm not saying that that's the case. God forbid. Because right now he's he laid down an ultimatum with the Trumpster about, the thing that has oh God. My son was when the virus of the crown hit, he was laid off his job. He just never went back because of school and everything else. But he decided he wants to go back because he was really good at it. And they told him because he didn't get that he has to pay $50 a month, a fee. What is that about? All of this manipulation, all this coercion, all of this stuff that they did. And now, with all the info that's out now, and it's still going on, it's still going on. It's beyond me. And what can you do? What can you do? Maybe you take a deal, right? That bums me out that sometimes I have to address people, and because they say things like, oh, Jacob, you're in. Let me tell you something. I can't even afford to get a new car right now. I got 3 children in college. I'm just making what I was making when I was at the when I was selling mattresses myself, thinking about possibly going back and all of these things. It bums me out. So then I think to myself, well, what about these guys? But they got millions of dollars, so I guess maybe it won't hurt their feelings as much. No, of course. If it's not true, if they're upright, if they're genuine, if they're good people, how dare me to put these questions out? But we can be deceived by people in positions of power and authority easily. And I know I'm not reaching millions of people. I'm not saying that I'm as good as Rogan or any of these guys. I'm not saying that. Been on here a long time, and I was on my path. Very, very direct path, and then it went from here to here, and then it stayed like this. It's been doing this for I don't know how long. That's why I ask, will you hit the like button? Will you help me? Because I need the help. I'm not getting help elsewhere. Will you share the videos around? Will you make sure you're subscribed? Will you check to see if you're subscribed and check the notification bell? Will you remember that I do a show pretty much every other day? So if you're not notified, just come back. Know that I'm here. So he wears that shirt. And the question becomes like, how is that? Why would you wear that shirt? I just questioned it. Weirder still, how did I know that every single platform was going to days before it happened? I don't got a crystal ball. I'm not into any of that stuff. I just have ideas. I'm a speculator, and I've been doing that a long time. And if you're not new to the channel, you know that. Well, we know that the word NASA, some say, means to deceive. But really, I like to point this out. It's not exactly NASA. It's Nasha or Nasha. And it does mean to deceive, but we're not saying that that's what the logo is. That's not what it means. Although it could mean that. I'm just saying it could. Who knows, right? He made a lot more money after being thrown off. A lot more. It was a great thing for his career. The lawsuit, not so much, right? It's terrible for all those families. It's terrible. This whole thing is terrible. But you know what? They set it up like that. Rogan, massive subscriber boosts during his controversies. It didn't seem, and I'm sure that it stunk for him. If he was in on something, it probably still stunk. But when you're seeing all those subscribers come in, you're probably like, not too bad at all. I know that I can't, I go up and down. It's just like every time I put it, it's just the weirdest thing. It's just so strange. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing because there's so many wonderful people like you that are here and you're doing what you're doing to help me. So there was this massive boost. And the question is, did he know? Is he in on it? Are they all in on it? Heifer Dink, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. I really do. We got like 1,600 people here. Now, remember what happens when we get 1,000 likes? We get up to like 2,000 people here. I would appreciate it if you just kind of just X out of the chat. It would be nice. If not, no big deal. No big deal. Just consider it, will you? Will you please? I really could use the boost. So the podcaster in his recent headlines gained 2 million. 2 million. How is that? And you know what I've noticed? As thank you again. Thank you, Dick. I appreciate it. But another super chat for him. You know what I've noticed? I've noticed that if you really are like a hateful person or like a I don't know, a vile person, like, you swear a lot or you talk about hooking up, you talk about all these things. I mean, you just things that are just not, we'll say godly, right? You say that word, you say, you talk about faith and like in my tags, in my videos, I don't even, like, I got to stop putting in like God and stuff like that. Sometimes I don't because I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to put it in there because that's what it's about. But they don't want that. They don't want people thinking more, right? They want everybody in their box, the little boxables. They want everybody in the box. They want you to go outside of the box. They don't want you to realize the enormous treasure that's within you. It's called the kingdom of God. They don't want you to know that you're a created being with a purpose and that God is all in us all, through us all, working all things together according to his glorious plan, even though it seems scary. Birth is not fun. Even this guy, I did a show on this. You know how many subs, how many people got angry at me? Because I was saying, here's a guy, millions of people watch him and everything else. He supposedly, very unfair. Meanwhile, gets a Tucker Carlson interview. Everybody wants to talk to this guy now. Now he's like, what, like he's a bastion of liberty and patriotism? Give me a break. People love people that reflect their inner anger. If they're angry and they feel they want to be able to do and say what this guy says. Once again, him, the Donut did a good show on this. And he pointed out that picture on the right. I put him in the background. Not that he's a big part of this, but that's that very, very, that's that hand symbol. That's all the occult stuff. It's too much. Are they all in on it? Are they? Is that what's happening? You know, is there more being said? You know, was this all big part of the plan? Right? Oh yeah. I mean, don't cry for them, Argentina, because they're doing just fine. 3 days later, just so strange. Now, weirder still, all of this stuff comes out literally the day after I remind everybody to watch that video. The video where I had the date, September 2022. Once again, go back, watch the live stream if you haven't seen it already. This is something that is, I think we really need to pay attention to. Because the stuff that's going on right now is not great. Okay? Not great. Especially since there's all the stuff going on with the legal issues, supposedly, that are going down. You know, pictures are being shown of the stuff that he has. You know, who was the whistleblower? All of these things coming together. Just seems like those MAGA Republicans are in trouble. I like to remind everybody that the Fifth Degree, Magus, there was, remember Simon Magus? He was the magician. He was the wizard who seemed like he was a Christian. He seemed like he was a follower of Christ, but really he was just a wizard. He was just a wizard, had a magic wand. Just like the Trumpster. His statue had that magic wand. You got to go back and watch that live show if you haven't. Kind of gives you a recap of the last couple of years where I've been setting up and I've been saying this is the direction we're going. When I had the dream about the coffin and the swamp moss and political, you know, it seems like he's going to be toast, but yet he's laughing on the side. He doesn't seem to be a person who has no power today, does he? And I said that was going to happen because I speculated. I didn't know if it was going to happen. I don't know. I don't know if a corrupt ruler is going to be replaced. I don't know. Just there are things that were biblical in nature that seem to be taking place. King Nebuchadnezzar, I liken to Donald Trump. The mad king that followed, Nabonidus, whose career was cut short, who was crazy, whose son was a big-time, alcoholic, druggy partier, who totally disrespected the things of God, had no problem. Bring in all the gold and beautiful vessels. I think his name was Belshazzar. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember exactly, but this is where you get the meeny, tekel, Upharsin line, which means, that's it. I'm taking your kingdom away from you. And it just seemed like that would be the direction. And of course, Biden seems like, we're biding our time. How many times did I say that? We're biding our time. We're biding our time to the big event. Is there a big event coming? I hope there's some calm. That would be nice. I hope there's some calm because right now, like even my oldest son, I said, you got to stay off of TikTok, man. He's always sending me these videos, and it helps for the show, but they're just scary, Water issues here, war issues there, nuclear issues there. Too much. Fear. There's so much torment in it. Is it all a big work? Is that what it means? Because all they're talking about is this. I don't see any. They're like, oh, no. It's Make America Great Again. I get it. I just don't see any periods. Do you see any periods there? I don't see any abbreviation. I see one word. MAGA Republicans. Which side are you on? Sounds a lot like there's a division. Sounds a lot like that thing that was trending where the two sides come against each other is what they're pushing for. But not just that. This is where it gets really weird. Do you know this is today's news? You see what he's sharing? What kind of content he's sharing? Back in the day, he didn't really give it too much credibility. right? Why is he now truthing out? His network's called Truth Social. Every one of those little things that we call tweet, they're called the truth. These are truths. The truth is gone from the land. You can only find the truth in the Lord, in God. And the truth is love, not division. It's unity. It's compassion. It's forgiveness. It's hope. It's kindness, long-suffering, patience. After the whole thing with the Zuck and the Rogan, he came out and he's been putting out some weird stuff. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Here he goes. Tuesday morning, he posted out the slogan. You'll see it, third paragraph down. And then he posted another message from that group. It's very strange. What is going on? That's weird. Do you remember when the general, his guy, I did a whole video about this too, because he was, there's some like sun worshiping cult that he was basically doing a prayer from the doomsday sun worshiping cult. I wish I had the video. I would share it with you. That guy, Flynn, he took the oath. Do you remember that? He took the, remember when it was going around, take the, and I said, why don't you take the oath? Why don't you take Jacob's oath? Why don't you take that oath instead of this nonsense? Nonsense. Something weird is going on. And I feel like it's all coming to a head. So much so that, of course, I'm in New York and they're telling everybody I'm conservative. I wouldn't mind leaving, but not, it's like where I live and everything. It's okay, I guess. I don't like hearing things about got to pay $50 a month. What the heck is going on? So DeSantis, who he calls this whole thing ridiculous. Get out of New York. Get out of New York. If you have a problem, if you're pro-life, get out of New York. What is happening? People, can you tell me in the live chat what's happening? Because I certainly would like to know. Is this coming? Because I pulled this up today. I just said, recent news, boom. One nation divisible, 2 in 5 Americans say it's coming. Persistent talk about this. Come on. Itching. Who's itching for it? I'm not. Even the Pope is making moves. Right? Did you hear about this? By September 30th? I think that's AI Day for Mr. Musk. I think that's AI Day. And then a month later on Halloween, they're doing the neural link thing. I think there's probably something possibly to do with New York coming up. New York City. I don't know why. Oh, I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. Delana sent me something. I didn't load this. About almost a year ago, I did a bunch of shows about vultures, where vultures were showing up everywhere, and that it was a warning sign, like where you see the vultures. Some translations say eagles, but really it's a bird of prey, carrion. They go after the dead animals and the dead whatever. When you see that, you know that something's coming, right? So I did all these shows about vultures. And what was weird was, and I talked about on the last show, I talked about how the Vatican did their nativity scene with the Sumerian, right? The Anunnaki and all that stuff, with the astronaut and all the out of this world Mayan stuff. Very weird nativity scene. The year following, they had a huge vulture. Very strange. But vultures were like all over. They were showing up. Now they're showing up in New York. And it's very weird because many of the people that are going through this, they've never seen this before. They're spraying their hoses to get rid of them. I was going to show it in my next video, but I feel like now that the vultures are showing up in New York, maybe there's something going down in New York. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything. You know who knows things? People like Russell Brand. Yeah, he knows things. He's a guru, right? And once again, I like Russell Brand. I think he's a genius comic. I really do. I really liked one of his specials. I mean, I just thought it was so insightful. And I don't watch his show anymore. I got bored of it. But I did for a while. I enjoyed his show, and I was like, wow, he's really pushing the envelope. Wow, you're doing great work. And I was like enamored by it. I'm like, well, he has all the money, so I guess he's taking a chance. But his channel continued to grow and grow and grow and grow. He's got almost 6 million subs. And of course, they put it out like, oh, yeah, he's rebranding himself as a clickbait, right? Clickbait theorist. That's who he is now. Yet he's doing really well. You know what Russell means? This is interesting. It means red-haired. If you know anything about red-haired, it's the red-haired brand. If you know anything about red, ruddy, Adam, the first man, it's a symbol of carnal man. It's the carnal man's brand. Red-haired brand. Russell Brand. Now, I know that that's like a little bit of a stretch. Seems. You know Esau, Jacob's brother, the firstborn? He came out hairy all over. He was red. Jacob, on the other hand, smooth. Remember, we've talked about hair on the show? Remember the whole thing with the slap? It's the harvest is coming. The harvest, summer of soul. The harvest, the trident, the trishula, where a great judgment comes. Something big is coming. I don't know what it is. The red-haired brand. The carnal man's brand. And very, very, very well liked. He was just recently on Andrew Schultz's. You know Andrew Schultz is another one. Great comedian. Really pushes the envelope. Sexually fluid, I guess. It's really interesting. There you got the third eye. That was from what yesterday. I saw that Russell Brand was because I had a whole show about Russell Brand, big one, because he's good friends with Yuval Noah Harari, a guy who recently was like Schwab's from the Forum, the World Economic. He was one of the top guys over there and an advisor over there, and he's basically there is no God. We're God. We become God. This is Russell's. Russell did many shows with him, kissing him, holding his book. Recently, this guy, Harari, sounds like Ferrari. Harari was saying we don't need humans, robots. There's no reason for humans to be around. Robots going to be able to do anything, right? Now we got Optimus Prime. We got that robot. It's going to be in all the houses. It's going to be like replace everybody's car. Supposedly, it's going to be as essential to the car. What do we need people for anymore? What do we need that for? We don't need any of that. The Dan's calling me. I'm just going to answer that because I love her. She called earlier. Honey Bear, hi. I'm live right now. You want to say hi to everybody? Hang on, I'll put you on speaker. Hang on, let me put you on speaker. All right, everybody say hi. This is the Dan. She's in her classroom. Say hi, honey.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the show.
We're talking about some goofy things. I was telling him how we were talking early this morning about how it's like, isn't it weird how these things are, but you look at things and they start to come together. Well, listen, honey, I love you. I'll call you back. Well, I'm almost done. I'll call you right back. How's the class coming?
Everything's going well.
Yeah, I helped her set up the class. I have a good eye for this. I've been doing it every year. She's one of the best teachers on the planet.
Thank you.
No, but you are though. I love you. All right, bye, honey.
Love you too.
Bye. All right, so I love my wife. She's just the best. I'm very blessed. Dan means God is my judge. She's definitely when I'm get out of line, she knows how to put me back in line. She's a good lady. She's a good lady, and they're lucky to have her. We need more people like my wife. We really do. So Russell Brand, the red-haired brand, follow me. I know all the ways of the world. I'm the guru, right? I look at how he comes on sometimes too. He has his shirt off all the time. He's always got his shirt off. Sometimes he doesn't even wear a shirt. Sometimes he puts a towel over his head, and I like it. I think it's interesting how he does these things. I wouldn't mind doing it. except for the fact that I feel like I'd look silly. But I guess when you're a celebrity, you're supposed to, push the envelope and look goofy. I don't know. Maybe he just likes being free, Why do we have to have these norms of how we should dress, right? Well, Russell, he promotes that we're God. That's his thing. Yeah, did you know that? Everybody we're God. We are. That's what Russell says. I don't believe that without a not at all. Jesus didn't. He said it very clearly. I'm the child of God. I never said that I was. I'm the child of God, and I'm a child of God. You're a child of God. I'm not God. The red-haired brand, the Esau's of the world, the Adams of the world, the Cains of the world, they decided to be like God, taking things into their own hand, not submitting to that second nature, that higher nature, which is Christ, the truth, the last man from heaven above, instead of the one that's formed in the dust of the earth. We've been formed in the dust of the earth. You think that I'm God? I don't think I'm God. Russell says we are, that we create everything. So he was on Schultz's show. I'm going to play a clip of this really quickly, just so you can hear it. And let's hope that it comes through.
Jump, Andrew, and there's a reason to make it in that jump is anticipated in all of the great ideologies in Islam, in Christianity, in Buddhism. They tell you this. It's an illusion, but you have to participate as if it is real. You have to find the beauty in it. You are creating reality while you are living it. You are God. The Father and I are one. It's like trying to tell you simultaneously, yes, it's meaningless, but you invest it with meaning. You create purpose. The Tao, you are the path that you are walking. So in a way, Jim...
Now that's a problem. That's a big problem. And he's using scripture, I and the Father are one. Guess what? All of us and the Father are one. It doesn't make us the Father, right? Everything exists in God. God exists in everything. All there is God. No man has known the Father, but the Son reveals the Father. We reveal God to the world. That's our job. But he promotes it. And he's got what? 6 million, almost 6 million subscribers. And then you look at all the stuff that he talks about, right? He's exposing it all. Is he, though? Isn't this stuff that we already know? Isn't this stuff that probably his team watched in somebody else's video and then he's promoted in the algorithm? I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm not saying that's the case at all. I'm saying there, look into that bird, by the way. Look into that bird. He's got some interesting tattoos. He's got some interesting things. And he's been connected to some very interesting people. But does that make him correct? Is he really? Did he have an awakening? He says he did. Does he have our best interests in mind? He says he does. But we're not God. And that's a problem because your God, your ego, your carnal mind, the red-haired brand, that's the brand that the ego wants. Give me more of that. I'm God. I can do whatever I want. I can create whatever I want. There's a problem with that. Because if you're God, your ego is God. Not that God, you exist in God. Because there's one God, one baptism, one Lord, one Spirit that's in all and through all. But you're not that. You are a creation of that. Jesus said, and this is a great way to understand what Jesus taught. Because he understood it. I understand it. You'll understand it after I explain it to you. He says, I'm in the Father, and the Father is in me. We're in God, and God is in us. Didn't say I am God. Religion teaches that. That's a whole other lesson for a whole other day. Whole other lesson for a whole other day. Russell Brand teaches that you are God. That's a problem. Because a majority of the scripture says very, very, very clearly that you should never compare God to the image of a corruptible man. God is not a man that he should lie, nor is he the son of man that he should repent. That's in the book of Numbers. You know what? I'm going to show you. Let me show you. Because that's the Antichrist spirit speaking. And that's a problem. Okay? Let me just pull this up. Let's go over here. This is the Antichrist spirit. This is the red-haired brand. This is in 2 Thessalonians. By the coming, that word coming means the revealing or manifestation of our Lord Jesus Christ and our gathering together unto him, because we're the body. We gather together to that spirit that's within us. That you're not soon shaken in your mind or troubled by the spirit, nor by the word, nor by the letter of any of us. Don't be stressed out by what's going on in the world today, everybody. This is a now message for you, so listen. Don't let anybody deceive you. I don't care how entertaining and how, oh, well, look at them exposing it all. For that day won't come except there be a falling away. Guess what? Guess what, people? Let me just come on over here. Let me tell you something. Newsflash. The falling away has happened. It's happened. The Antichrist has been revealed to a lot of people, but not everybody. And sure, there will be a literal character that'll stand up that'll be monstrous. And you'll be able to once again be tricked by that Antichrist spirit that's in the temple of God, declaring himself to be God. I am God. You are God. We are all God. Creating. That is the Tao, he says. It's not the Tao. We're not the Tao. The Tao, which is the path. We're not that. I study all these other books too, so that we can all talk. We can all come together and we can understand these things. Too much. There's too much going on today, and it's too scary to think that this many people are listening and they think that these people are all on our side. It's Benjamin, thank you. Wow, I appreciate that super chat. Keep putting the truth out there, bro. I'm hoping to put out the truth. See, unlike a lot of people, I can't exactly come out here and say this is it. You know what I know? I'm like I think what Paul said this. I think I know Christ in the resurrection and the crucifixion. That's all I know. I really don't know much. I don't know much, but I know God is real, and I know that this is something that we all need to wrap our minds around. But I'm not God. And no matter how many people like Russell Brand or anything else, because most of them, they're all acting that way. When you're God yourself, then you are the master of your world, which is what Russell was saying. So what does it matter how you treat other people? No consequences, right? Wrong. We reap what we sow. So let's get back into this because this is something that's so important. Okay. Let no man deceive you, for that day will not come except there be a falling away. That happened. Good. And that man of sin, who's the man of sin? That's the Antichrist. Be revealed. And this is a lesson for those that think that they know the scriptures. Try not to get lost in the chat right now and try to listen. The man of sin is revealed, is known as the son of perdition. Do you know who the son of perdition is? Let me, you know what? Let me pull this up for a second. And let me just go here. Let me see if I can just pull this up really quick to just twice more. Let's see. Maybe we'll try the NIV on this one. I don't like to just tell you. I want to. Okay. Well, child of hell. Let's see if that comes up. Jesus was. There we are. Okay. Woe to you, teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites. You travel the land overseas to win one single convert. And when you succeed him, you make him twice as much the child of hell as you. Child of hell, son of perdition, child of hell. Same exact thing. Let me bring back up Romans 1 and let's get back to this. So, the one that opposes and exalts himself, okay, is a child of hell. The man of sin. Don't let anybody deceive you. The day of Christ's coming, notice it doesn't say return, coming to be revealed, manifested again, to be made aware. That day will not come unless there's a falling away first. And that you know that you're not God and you stop thinking that you know it all. That you know that the idea of who you think you are is not the truth of who Christ is in you. It's an Antichrist. This is who opposes and exalts himself above everything that is called God. Guess what? Russell, when he's saying I'm God, he's exalting himself above everything that's called God or that is worshipped. So that Russell Crowe, not Crowe, he's a good actor, Russell Brand, the red-haired Brand, is God, sitting in the temple of God. Guess who the temple of God is? We are. Showing himself that he is God, so much so that on a broadcast with a bunch of people and on his, show on a regular basis, he's telling everybody, you are God, you are God, you are God, you are God. This is the spirit of Antichrist that needs to be revealed. This is the falling away. Remember not when I was with you, I told you these things, and now you know what's withholding Christ, that he may be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity is already at work, people. But here's the good thing, right? And then shall the wicked be revealed, as I'm revealing right now. I'm not saying Russell Brand is wicked. He's deceived. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, truth. As I'm talking, that's the words that I speak. Jesus said, my words are spirit and they are truth. The truth casts out the lie and destroy with the brightness of his revealing within you. And what does he reveal? The working of Satan. Now, has anybody seen God at any time? Is God a man? No. God is not a man that he should lie. Russell's lying by saying he's God. Russell's lying by saying we're God. And he's not the only one. There are a lot of people. This whole Christ consciousness thing, this whole, you are God thing, this whole, you just to take this vitamin or that vitamin, your pineal gland will open up and blah, blah. I think all that stuff is interesting. The pineal gland, everything. I've talked about it. I think it's fascinating stuff. I think the natural representation of it reveals the spiritual allegory that's within. But you can't take medicine or some supplement to somehow be awakened. Sure, if you eat right and you take care of yourself and you're healthy, it's easier to find a better spiritual path. But you got to return. You got to humble yourself. You got to ask for the truth. God's not a man, nor is he the son of man, that he should repent. We are the children of man, and we're the children of God, and we need to repent. This is the truth. So much so, let me show you another thing, okay? Because a lot of people use this to condemn people that have same-sex attraction, okay? But they missed the whole point of this. This is about worshiping man, like man worshiping the idea of man. That's what it's about. And if you read it, you find that out pretty quickly. It's very easy if you actually read it and you look at what's being said here, okay? God's wrath against sinful humanity. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven. Heaven is within you, against all ungodliness, okay? Since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them. Since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, he's invisible, can't see him. His eternal power and divine nature is clearly seen, being understood by what's been made. So people are without excuse. Can't see God, but you can see what God makes. For although they knew God by everything around them, they didn't glorify him as God, nor gave him thanks. Everybody thinks they're in charge of their lives, but their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools. Now watch what they did, because they say they're so smart and they dress so cool and they wear really cool stuff. And they exchanged the glory of the immortal, invisible, in another translation, God, for the images made like a human being. That's the problem. That's the reprobate mind. To believe God is a man, to believe God is like a piece of wood, to believe God is a mortal human being, or birds or animals. Therefore, God gave them over to their sinful desires of their heart, to sexual impurity for the degrading of their bodies. And this is where the interesting twisting comes in. Because if you read this, sure, it seems like it. But what are we talking about? We're talking about man worshiping man. Remember, the woman is the soul, okay? And the man is symbolic of the spirit. There's more to this story. It's always about God being revealed in us, through us. And that's the day that we're in. Now, here's the thing, because there's only one Lord, there's one faith, one baptism, one God, one Father, who's above all and through all and in you all. But unto everyone is given a measure of grace. So, let me come back over here before I finish up. So, there's a little problem with thinking that you're God. I'm being silly. It's a big problem. But it's a little twist of the truth. Because Jesus said, I'm in the Father and the Father is in me. It's like saying they call it the subconscious mind, but really we should call it like the higher mind. And there's the idea of me. So there's the idea of me, and then there's the higher spirit that when I go to sleep at night creates whole worlds, and then I exist as the little me and experience the dream as I'm walking through it. There's I'm in the Father is in me. But you know what else Jesus said? He said, I don't know the day and the hour. No one knows the day and the hour. I can't tell you what God is doing. I can't even say but what God tells me to say. He laid down his life willingly to serve God. And people today are saying, you don't need to lay anything down. You're God. That's a problem. So, who can we trust? Who can we trust today? Are they for us or are they against us? You got to tell me in the comments section and let me know. And I want to thank all of you for coming. We have over 2,000 people here and we have over 1,200 likes. I'm very grateful for all of you. I really am. I love you. I hope you have the best day ever. I hope that this show encouraged you some. I hope that you don't think that you are God. I hope that you look a little bit deeper into things. Thank you, T. D'Amico. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. You know, it's you all make things so wonderful. Thank you to my patrons. I have a Patreon. Thank you to people that support me on PayPal. Thank you for those. If you want to get yourself a Teach Me the Truth shirt, no matter what the cost or anything, Uranus is a planet mug. You know the links are always in the description. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't. It's helpful. You know, it really does. And please consider sharing the channel around to other people, especially if what I feel might happen may happen in September. People are going to need a voice of reason. They're going to need a voice of hope. They're going to need to know, that everything's okay. Everything's all right. No matter, don't consider the fiery trial that you're going through, right? Don't consider it's working together for your good. All of it. All right, everybody. I love you all. I will see you again in a couple of days. Have the best day ever, okay? Love one another. Give each other hugs. Be nice. Be kind to your parents. Be kind to your children. Forgive. Do better, right? We all got to do better. I love you.